Welcome, everyone, and thanks for joining us today. You're listening to Women on TV here at WBTVN, and you're listening to the Shea Vaughn Show, and I'm your host, Shea Vaughn. I'm exceptionally, really excited about our guest today because this girl has done everything, and she really did it in a way that she just, climbed piece by piece up that ladder to get to honestly where she is today. So let me tell you a little bit about her. Kathryn Kemp Guylay has spent more than 35 years in businesses and nonprofit management world as a coach, executive director, management consultant, and CEO. Her clients have included IBM, GE, 3M, Motorola, Siemens, and dozens of other Fortune 500, 100 companies, as well as small and mid-sized companies. We welcome you full-heartedly to the Shea Vaughn Show.
Thank you so much, Shea. It's such a pleasure to be here. We're going to have a lot of fun and hopefully provide a great amount of value to the viewers.
Yeah, so that's what we're always, wanting to do. And I think that you're the gal that's going to give them a lot of good information and education today. So before we get started, let's tell them a little bit about you growing up and how did you get from where you were as a little girl growing up and to where you are today.
Wow. Okay. So I'll just hit a few highlights along the way. So I actually grew up in Chicago and spent a lot of time talking to my dad about nutrition. He actually worked at the Chicago Medical School and was the chairman of biochemistry and anatomy. It was called biological chemistry and structure. So I was always fascinated with health, with nutrition. It was sort of what we talked about at the dinner table was macronutrients and micronutrients. Yes. And then as pressure goes with children, when it became time for me to choose what I was going to study, I had some pressure to go into the health services field, maybe become a doctor. And I said, you know what, I'm going to go into business. So that's my next sort of highlight is I went all the way through graduate school. I got my MBA in 1995. And then I went into management consulting with a mid-sized firm, but with big clients for about 10 years. And it was a wonderful learning experience and a great way to get started in my career when I was young. But I will tell you, I also learned a lot about the holistic way of living and sort of burnout being a real thing and corporate wellness not being very much in place, especially in the 90s and early 2000s. So I did experience a little bit of my own burnout. I went through my first child and I worked through her birth and toddlerhood. And then I had my second child and it was like insane. I had to pull a couple of all-nighters right when I was pregnant. So I sort of learned from that experience, just certainly a lot of content, but also just how to be productive and to be on an upwardly mobile path while not burning out. And so that kind of brings me to where I am today. I'm the CEO of the Ketchum Innovation Center. So I work with a lot of entrepreneurs and existing business owners on how they can grow their business, but in a sustainable way without dealing with burnout. I went back to my passions with nutrition. I was talking about my dad early on, and I started a nonprofit about 12 years ago, and it's called Nurture, and we teach children and families how to eat healthy on a budget with limited know-how. We give slow cookers and rice cookers to family. So that's my passion project. And I also help entrepreneurs online. I have a coaching and online business. And again, it's really this holistic business where I work on wellness and nutrition, but I help people write books and I help people grow their businesses and just be multifaceted human beings that we are.
So if somebody really wants to even get started, it sounds like you'd be the perfect person for them to talk to because you are able to talk to them about all the different things and putting in a package for them and yet being able to take those first couple of steps to get it going. And yet, having that said, it sounds like people that have businesses but maybe stuck where they are, wanted, add more value, to their business as entrepreneurs, because we're always thinking about doing that. And even bring in the health and wellness and the nutritional side of that too, because what happens is that most people, they're running so hard to get their business up, and they're so tired, and then they got kids to take care of and all of these things, and they really, don't take care of themselves as much as they should. And so you can help them to balance all of that out. I hope I got that all right. But I do want to say to you, number one, I was raised my kids in Chicago, and we were talking about media earlier, being on, Fox or NBC, Windy City Live, which you didn't mention, but I know you know who Windy City Live is. It's a big network there in Chicago. And I used to be on that all the time. And I actually did a program for them that was losing weight and nutritional and whatever. And we took the executives. And there was 2 teams, and there was a doctor that was coaching one of them, and I was coaching the other, and it was very, very successful. So we have a lot in common in that. But I want to move on, because most recently you've taken your experience from the world-class international organizations to serve entrepreneurs, community as the CEO of, and tell us about the companies.
Sure. So the Ketchum Innovation Center is part of a network of either co-working spaces, incubators, or accelerators that really leverage the idea of bringing people together in collaborative spaces and kind of letting ideas grow from that. So they're all over the country. And if people are interested, wow, how can I get involved? I would just Google, your town and co-working or incubator or accelerator, and you will find that these exist all over the place. I happen to be in the mountain town of Sun Valley, so I'm very closely connected to the other co-working spaces, incubators, and accelerators in mountain towns. And that's just kind of exciting, because what we're really trying to show is that you can be geographically free. You can be independent of maybe those long lines of traffic. I just talked to somebody, a C-suite executive at Amazon, who moved to Sun Valley, and he said, yeah, we were just kind of getting tired of the 45-minute line to get out of the parking lot at Amazon. And I'm thinking, oh my gosh, right? So Shea, you know what it's like being in Chicago traffic. I've been there, and it's just fun to be inspired in a beautiful setting in nature in Sun Valley. It's the home of Ernest Hemingway. It's a creative vortex, and we've been here now for 6 years, and it's been a load of fun.
Oh, that's great. And I know that you have 2 children, I think it is. Okay.
I do. I still have children at home. So you were talking about how I help people and kind of integrate all the things that I've done throughout my career. I love working with both men and women, but there's this sweet spot right now with women that maybe did take a little time off from their career when their kids were young, or maybe they shifted jobs so they could have a little bit more flexibility. I was one of those moms, and there is this issue, and there's an inner work and there's outer work, right? There's sort of the mindset stuff, and then there's the hard skills. When women need to come back full force as their kids start to get older, they run up against a lot of obstacles and challenges. And I've had a ton of fun helping women with that, because I'm just a little bit ahead. So my kids are now 15 and 17. So I have one my daughter is just about to leave the nest and go off to college. And then we have, 4+ years left with my son in the house. But I've been there, I've done that. And I know that you can integrate all of that and still take care of yourself as a woman, because that's Absolutely. Something that we as women sometimes leave to the last thing of the day. Yeah. Oh no.
I want to go back to the Innovation Center, the Ketchum Centers, because I want everybody to really understand, really what they do and what you do. And I love the fact that this is global, and that there are, these places, centers that you can go to, that if you're looking for, certain things, they're going to be there, that you can contact them and that they can help you. But what I want to be clear about is, what would those things be that you would be contacting them about and looking for their services?
Sure. So in the case of the Ketchum Innovation Center, and every space is different, in addition to having the actual physical space that people can gather, we have four pillars. And one of them is really that gathering. It's the community support or community building. And so we have groups, like we have a women's entrepreneur group, we have a youth innovators group, so that you can kind of gather and build community that's a little bit more focused. So that's one of our pillars, is community building. We also have education. And so we provide programs throughout the year on everything from those, inner work, mindset, growth mindset things, to the outer work, like how do you do QuickBooks and create balance sheets and income statements and much, much more. And then we also have a mentorship program, which is fabulous. I think you cannot emphasize enough the importance of mentors in one's career. And then the last pillar is our capital solutions. So when people are looking for ways to grow their business, often they need to raise money. And so that means everything from just bootstrapping it and trying to get profitable quickly and then paying, kind of funding the business yourself, all the way through, crowdfunding and loans and SBA loans, all the way to angel investing and even venture capital. So we help people kind of manage, what does that even mean in some cases, and which one would apply best for my business.
And so in doing that, thank you. That was so great. I'm sure everybody's going to appreciate that. But like for small businesses always get to that point where they've done a great job. They don't owe anybody, anything, but they can't really grow without having some kind of infusion of money. And so what's the best way to go on something like that? Because, I think the crowdfunding is great. Whoever came up with it, and I don't know, but it's gotten very popular and it works. But you've got to do a lot of that if you're going to, raise the kind of money that some companies might need to be able to just market and to do some of the things like bring people on and pay them to do, because sometimes they're, 2 people or 3 people and they can't cover, everything. They need to reinvent, 2 or 3 people like themselves so that, the job can get done. So what would be the better way to look at finding funding for a company like that really has potential, that really, is ready to grow and has done a lot, but now they're going to run out of money if they can't do the things that they want to do if they don't really get some kind of funding?
And the answer to that question really is, it depends. So I will give you a couple of examples. If you have a retail business, for example, that's probably more locally based, SBA loan, or even if you're just trying to pay for inventory, doing something like, factoring or something, that could be just an easy solution for you. In the middle of the road, sort of faster growing and more economically diverse companies can look for friends and family funding or even angel investing. Now, all the way at the other end of the spectrum, if you have a technology product that has the potential where you really need to invest in development once you've proven your concept, and we do follow the lean launch model. So We're not talking about investing a lot of money in any concept until it's tested and proven. But for like a really high growth telecom technology, those might be the venture capital organizations. And there's a difference between what we call dumb money and smart money. And we really like to see, if you're going to get venture capital money, to go with a really great firm where you're going to get a lot of advice. And that's just something, again, it depends on the type of company you're growing, but it also depends on your personality. A lot of entrepreneurs don't want to give up a lot of control or be told what to do. So it always depends.
So I just want to make this comment. So maybe if you can't get on the sharks, maybe they can contact you, right?
There you go. Forgot about the sharks, right?
Yeah, forget about the sharks. They're going to take equity. But most business people are, to some degree. That doesn't mean you can't negotiate. So, have an open mind, because, having less equity and having more money and growing is going to be better than keeping all of that equity and not growing. So we really need to put that in perspective sometimes. So you have an online coaching and transformational, ability to help people with their business. Tell me a little bit about that online coaching that you do.
And you use the word transformational. I think that's really important to emphasize, because I'm not just here to say, consume this content. I am really here to transform people. So when people sign up for my courses, and I don't always open them, sometimes they're open at certain times of the year, I really bring people under my wing and we work together to make sure that they have a transformational experience. So for somebody that's thinking about a long-term plan, maybe it's a woman that wants to get back to work, but she's got a little mom guilt and sort of, how do I manage, nurturing my professional side, but also being a great mom and wife and running my house. So I might work with her on a couple of my different areas. I might say, okay, well, there's great resources that make nutrition fun. It'll teach you how to make quick, easy meals that are great for your family. And then so she doesn't have to feel that mom guilt about not taking great care of her kids and then herself. And that's also on the wellness side. But maybe the mom wants to write a book, and I could teach her how to maybe write a book with her child, right? So then it's a children's book, and then the mom guilt can sometimes be just solved by incorporating her family into what you're doing. Or maybe she wants to write a memoir or nonfiction or even fiction. So I work with aspiring authors and how they can use that book often to grow their platform. And then with the platform growth comes more traffic, and then a business starts to grow. It's really a business, when it comes down to it online, is just two things. It's just offers, having something to offer that's valuable, that's transformational, and traffic to those offers. I try to tell people it's really not that complicated. It's simple.
So you keep talking about, and people can actually go to makeeverythingfun.com. And
yes.
We're going to learn about what you just was talking about, and just how to bring all of this together and just really have fun doing it. And I think that so many times that fun isn't there, that it's more like I've got my piece of paper and my pen, and I need to, X this one out because that's been taken care of, and this one, and I look down, there's still another 10 things to do or whatever. But if you're really having fun and your heart is in it, and you just want to, not let life go by without smelling the roses, or, doing something for yourself, or sometimes you don't think you have time for, doing something, but the truth of the matter is you never regret taking time to be with your family or doing something with them. You only regret it when you don't do it, right?
Absolutely. It's sort of envision the end of your life, even in the middle of your life or the beginning of your life, because that will help you to make the decisions throughout your life and to filter out things.
And the other side of this is I love how, because so many people think about business as business being over here, and there's this line of demarcation, and then home is over here. And the truth of the matter is there isn't really any separation between those things, because we spend time in both of them. And thinking about that, health and wellness doesn't wait until you're just home. It has to, you take it with you. You live it. It's a lifestyle more than anything else. So I want to get into, make nutrition fun and some of those things, because, make wellness fun, make your entrepreneurship fun, all of these things that you promote and say, and I get to read off of here. So I didn't come up with it on myself, because I know that this is where her heart is. And these are the things that she helps people with. And so talk a little bit about that.
Well, Make Everything Fun was actually the result of a lot of searching. Like, I believe that many of us, all of us, are very multifaceted. And yes, they talk about use a niche to get rich. I think you do need to focus your work. But at the same time, you need to honor all the things, like you said, like there isn't necessarily a line between this and that, and our life can't be all silos, especially true for women. So I was always known as sort of this business consultant, and then I went into nutrition and wellness, and I was put in that little silo, and I said, you know what, I'm going to zoom out, and I'm going to look at all the different things I'm doing, and what's the common denominator, and that's fun. And you mentioned, Shea, you mentioned time, and I'm not trying to say that taking the garbage out should be fun. I'm not trying to say that those like menial tasks that all of us just have to do.
Those things that smell, and that's not fun.
that's I'm not trying to say that needs to be fun, but I'm trying to say that, or I'm really emphasizing that the things that you spend a lot of time on. So if you're going to write a book, nutrition is something that you need to think about 3 to 5 times a day, and if not more, if you're a mom. Wellness is a lifetime thing. I'm a faculty member of the Wellness Council of America, which is corporate wellness. And it is a life that is not a silo thing. It is a lifetime thing. It's a home work thing that we have to figure out. Writing a book takes a ton of time. So I try to make publishing fun. And so that was another area. And then again, in business, I'm not saying that every single day should be fun, but it's the whole Steve Jobs. Like, you need to get up in the morning, look in the mirror and say, am I excited about what I'm doing today? And if the answer is no for too many days in a row, you need to take a step back and you need to take a look at the bigger picture. So that's what Make Everything Fun really is about.
Yeah. It really is. It's the tasks that we know that we want to take because they're going to help us with our business, or they're going to help us, be a better entrepreneur, think about different things that opening up our minds and would to options that maybe, we didn't feel comfortable in, and getting that fear, putting that aside. But in doing that, what you're really saying is enjoy it. Be in the moment, enjoy it, because this moment is not going to be here again. It's not. And so we can't go back and get it. We can't go back and grab it. Life continues to go forward. And so it's not about, I'm going to bring some fun into my life next year, or as soon as I get this done, or whatever that project is that you just want to get through it. Instead of that, what you're really saying, which makes perfect sense, is that pick those things that when you're, be mindful that if you're going to sit down and read a book, to your kid or spend time with them, don't think about the other things that you have to do after that. Just put your mind and focus into that, and it will bring you so much joy.
Shea, you're so right. We are all so busy. Even kids are busy today. And so where do we go for more time? I mean, people always ask me, where do I go for more time, Kathryn? And where do you go? You go to the infinite. And where does the infinite reside? It resides in the now. And I know that those might just sound like, pretty words, but they're absolutely true. And I was just coaching a client last week. She was getting to the point of burnout in her business. And so I coached her, and we talked about how she is so much more valuable to the world because she's, a light worker like you are, like I am, and we're here to work with people to make the world a better place. And I said, you're so much more of service if you take care of yourself, if you're in the present moment, and try to manage what's going on with your life today so that you can stay in the long game, right? So if you give yourself 2 years where you're just, pushing through every day and burn out, actually it's less service and help to the world than if you were to just be a little bit more mindful and take a little bit more space. But you know what? Maybe you could do it for 10 years, 15, 20. And when you really add that up, that's so much more service and value than just saying, I'm going to push through. I'm going to push through.
Right. And I think that we do tell ourselves that we're going to push through, or I'm going to get this done. I mean, everything is like, it needs to be past rather than future. And we're not going to do it any faster than what we're going to do it. And so we do need to be in the moment, having fun with it, embracing it, and, making it something that we're proud of rather than something that we're making it's done with.
That's why I say have fun getting it done. I mean, I'm not talking about just kicking back and doing nothing. That's not fun to me. It's fun is actually being productive, but it's being productive in a mindful way.
Right. So people that work with you really understand that, that you're a working mom and you love your family, and you have to do all of the things that you're really, saying to them, because so many times there is situations where somebody tells you to do something that they're not doing. I mean, you wouldn't have here's a perfect example. Seriously, since we're talking about nutrition, I don't think that you'd have a lot of trust in someone if you need that was, overweight and you needed to lose weight.
Absolutely. Somebody was just asking me about leadership, and I said the most important thing that a leader can do is to walk their talk. You have to inspire through your own actions, whether you're a mom at the dinner table. You can't turn your nose up at a salad or anything green and expect your kids to eat that. But it's also the same in the workplace, right? Our leaders need to walk the talk and be inspiring.
Well, I say that all the time, and but it's really time. I really feel like women that are united are definitely changing the world, and that's what WBTVN and Women on TV believe, and that's what our network is all about. Is really bringing more people together with that. But in leadership, I'm going to write this book. It's called Leadership. Okay, so wait a minute. So it'll be my third book, but the thing of it is that it's not going to have a whole lot in it. The only thing, and it's kind of going to be this great, look on it and pictures and different things like that. And then you open it up, and here's what it says: lead by example. That's it.
I love that.
And then there's just empty pages, and you can kind of fill in your own things like, what do you want to get done? What's holding you back? All of those kinds of things. But when it comes to leadership, when you said, walk that walk and talk that talk, that's what it's really all about. And what we all need to do is step forward and take that responsibility, because out of that really comes the choices that people will notice, that will trust, and they see that you're doing the same thing. And you are just the ultimate of that in doing that. So, Kathryn, I want to thank you so much for being on the show today. And if there's, some words of wisdom other than what you've already added to this, please share that with our audience.
Well, sure. I'd love to give everybody the opportunity to participate in my Make Nutrition Fun course, and I'm going to give the listeners free access to 8 lessons, and they're fabulous, and you'll get so much value out of it. And it's at makeenythingfun.com/Shea. So I did that just for you, SHEA, and people can sign up and learn a lot about how your emotions affect your nutrition. And then there's some really practical hands-on tools like a lunch matrix and kind of how to plan easy meals. But I thought that would be sort of fun for all the women listening to, it's springtime right now. It's a great time to really clean up the inner, you're eating, and then clutter clear your house. It feels so good this time of year. I love it.
Clutter clear, yes, everything, and especially your house and your health and your mind. Everybody says, oh, you need to just empty everything. Well, you can't do that. You're always thinking. Even when you sleep, you have dreams. And so, but you can make sure that you clean it and that you have a choice about what you allow to be in it. So I love having you on today, and blessings to you for coming on and giving so many great ideas and really walking that walk, and then sharing something, a gift that you've given for people to go to makeenythingfun.com and participate and be part of what you're trying to do and help other people. So I want to thank the audience today for being with us today here on the Shea Vaughn Show. And until the next time, we'll see you then. Take care.